Hello and welcome back, survivors. This is Darius Torana, and today we are attempting a Palworld 100 Days No Death run. The rules for this run are if I die, it's over. If a pal dies, I have to butcher them. And the goal is to reach level 55, catch all of the 126 pals in the Paldeck, and beat the 5 towers. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, I had actually started one of these already, but I died on day 1 because I did a similar start to the one that I'm currently doing, as I had found a cool little secret-ish spot. However, with that knowledge, I went ahead and prepped a little bit better for escaping from that area. To prep for it, I went ahead and gathered up some resources, built myself my initial tools, and gathered up enough resources to be able to make a PAL box over there, as well as attempting to get a couple of the fast travel points. With that prep done, however, I went ahead and jumped on down. To get to this area, you will just turn around from where you spawned, head down to where you can find a chest and the first Castaway Survivor note, and then just go to the edge of the pathway over there. After hitting the beach, I went ahead and looted up the area. There's a little cave nearby there, which I am definitely not ready for, but I grabbed a Lift Monk statue and then started to explore a little bit. I'd found a PAL ball, so I decided at this point it was as good a time as any to try to catch Lamb Ball. There was a couple of low-level ones, so I was like, hey, I can handle this. Its buddy got involved, and honestly I felt kind of stupid risking myself like this before I have any weapons or anything like that. It's literally the first day. I shouldn't be taking dumb risks like this, but they're just Lamb Balls. I should be able to handle it. I catch the first one and then realize I'm either going to have to catch or kill the second one too, so I get it down really low and hop down to make another PAL ball real quick. After building the bench real quick and then building a PAL ball, I run back up, throw it at him, and catch him. After that absolute fiasco of a start that we had, I went ahead and ignored all of my prep work to be able to escape the area and just started climbing. Doing this, however, found me a pretty neat spot for my first base. So, after getting my base started, I went ahead and got it leveled as quickly as I could to level 4, and then just kind of got started prepping for an excursion tomorrow. Now, this is the first time I'm recording one of these off of my PlayStation, so I did have a couple of issues with the recording stuff. So, as you can see on my team right now, I have a Gumos. I did go through and I caught a few different pals. Gumos is one of those. However, I did on day 2 also go and grab this Lift Monk effigy, and I ended up catching a couple more pals that day as well. Of the pals that I kind of caught early, I caught a Gumos, Cativa, Tifont, and Pangolin. However, here is a picture of my PAL box so you can see exactly what I have caught. After crafting more arrows, my shield, and my glider, I went ahead and went back out because I needed more Paldium to be able to craft more PAL balls. However, I did end up running into a Tombat. Now, this is kind of what I would consider the first big real risk I took, because the Tombat was quite a bit higher level than me, but getting something that can mine ore for me while I'm gone would put me way ahead. At least I thought so. So I went for it, and I actually succeeded. Now, much like Medieval Dynasty, I am trying to sleep at night unless I have some objective I'm actually trying to do, like catching pals that only come out at nighttime. So that is why I keep going to bed instead of staying up and working through the night, which does give me like an extra 10 minutes per day. Now, day 3, I spent the day working on my base and prepping for a big day of catching the next day. I want to be able to get my level as high as possible since I am trying to get to level 55 by the end of the 100 days, and I'm wanting to, do all of the things. So I just need to get as much done as I can as quickly as possible. Now, day 4 and 5, unfortunately, I deleted the footage before I uploaded it off my PlayStation, like an idiot. So what happened during those days is I went on a pal catching spree. As you can see, I caught an eichth deer. I got a bunch of different pals. I was able to get myself fairly high level. And then on day 5, I started prepping for the Chillet fight, and I actually got my crossbow. So I was able to get pretty good stuff for that. Now, for day 6, however, I'm sure you guys had noticed a few moments ago all of those Sparkets in an area that they're not really supposed to be in. However, there wasn't like an alpha or a boss Sparket, so I was really confused about that. That being said, I go into this Alpha Chillet fight. We are doing pretty good, and honestly, the whole time, there's not a ton of danger that I felt like I was in. He mostly focused on my eichth deer, so I felt fairly confident and safe the whole time. And I didn't particularly care if I lost the eichth deer because I had another one. So I wasn't a huge deal, and then I ended up throwing some balls and catching them. Now, my memory did not serve me well here, because after I fought Chillet, I went back to that area with all those Sparkets, and I was going to catch a couple of them. Now, I knew that this was some kind of event because there were some higher level Sparkets. Normally, things in this area are around level 4 or 5, and Sparkets in the beginning areas you find them in are like between 3 and 5. There was some like 10s and 8s and 9s here. Now, that being said, I also remember Sparkets running away until you attack them, but only the one that you attack turns around to fight you. Well, that didn't happen. After they chased me off, a bunch of them ran away, so I kind of went and tried to pick off the ones that I could to be able to catch them, and I caught a few of them, but I did not get nearly as many as I wanted to. Now, after I catch a couple of those Sparkets, I head up towards the small settlement where I end up finding a Vixie. Well, I found 2, but I accidentally killed one of them. But found a Vixie, headed back home, made up a ranch, and got everything set up so that Vixie can start producing me Palspheres. Alright, so on day 7, we got the base upgraded to level 10. I got some spheres made and a Doomud hatched, and after that I headed over to that cave I was telling you about to do my first cave run. First pal I run into in the cave is one of, not my favorites, but one of the ones I consider the most useful, Killamari. They can act as your glider, and while yes, I have a glider, they use way less stamina than really honestly any of the gliders, and you can really get going if you're using a grapple gun. Now, after catching a couple other pals like Fuddler and Daydream, and fighting off some Syndicate thugs, gathering up some chests and such, we do finally make it to the boss room. You have no idea how much I squeed in excitement when I saw that the boss is freaking Dire Howl. Now, yes, Dire Howl is a pretty basic pal, but they're one of the fastest, and especially with the aesthetic of my character, I just look so cool on the back of a Dire Howl. So I was really excited to be able to get an alpha. I immediately pulled out my green spheres and started trying to catch him with those. I also wanted to catch the 2 small ones that were with him, however, one of those did end up dying, the other one I was able to successfully catch. After getting the prize that is my Dire Howl, my alpha, that was so great, I went up to the chest, opened them up, and there was an uncommon crossbow schematic in there. So not only did I get my mount, but I got a better weapon too. With that cave out of the way, I went ahead and headed home and went to bed for the night. So day 8, not much happened, so I honestly didn't even really decide to record it. I just did a bunch of catching of different pals and went and sold stuff at the small settlement. But day 9, I actually ended up finding a black marketeer. I couldn't get what I wanted, unfortunately, so I just moved along, and then I found another cave. Once in the cave, it was the same song and dance: catch pals, mine paldium fragments, and try to find the boss. I did eventually find the boss, and it was a lamb ball. Oh, wait. So I finally found the boss, and it was a dire howl again. I was super excited. Literally almost the exact same thing happened, where I accidentally killed one of them and caught the alpha and the second one, and this one actually was a female. This time, the chest had an ancient technical manual, which gives you a point for your ancient tech stuff, which was really nice. And after that, I ended up heading home. So one of my plans is to do every 10 days, kind of check in to see how I'm doing with my goals. So I'll put those up on the screen. Beyond that, though, for day 10, I went and I farmed the alpha chillet again. And then I went after Penking. Now, one thing I will absolutely say about the Penking fight is, honestly, I should have waited till nighttime for this fight. They all fall asleep, and the Penking himself actually isn't the hard part of this fight. It's the 3 pangolins also fighting you. So while my dire howl was distracting the Penking, I was trying to take out the pangolins. However, if you come at night, those 3 are asleep, and you can take them out very easily one at a time. Now, once those 3 were down, though, I started focusing up on the Penking, put away my dire howl, and eventually I caught the Penking. No rest for the wicked, and now that I was level 20, I was going to head to the Rain Syndicate Tower to take on Zoe and Grisbolt. Now, I would like to talk about Palworld's design a little bit here. So, I do really like that they added in, both out in the overworld and here in the boss towers, people that actually bring out pals to fight you. I think it's really cool. And the Zoe and Grisbolt fight, I love the design that Zoe has. I think she looks very cool. And Grisbolt is a very good, like, it's a great fight. I very much enjoy doing this kind of thing. It definitely feels like if you had like a team of friends, which I've done this with friends, and it is even better, but like if you have a team of friends, you each have a pal out, it's such a fun and exciting fight. That being said, I am definitely not going to have you guys watch the whole fight because it took almost 5 minutes, and in a 100 days video, minutes are definite money there. So we took out Zoe and Grisbolt and finished them off and headed home. So day 11 started off with me deciding I needed to do 2 things. I need more pals for leveling up, and I need more metal. So my Tombat just wasn't doing the job that he needed to do, so I decided to head out and start mining up some metal, and along the way I would catch whatever pals I hadn't gotten the catch bonus on yet. I was definitely noticing a massive need for a Ring of Mercy, because I kept killing all of the pals I was trying to catch, so I made it one of my to-do list items to grab a Ring of Mercy. With my new Ring of Mercy equipped, I headed back out and proceeded to start trying to catch every pal I could see that I still needed the bonus for. For day 12, I decided, despite the fact that it was not a goal per se of my run through, I did want to have like a decent base. So I decided to start working on that and build myself a house instead of just having a platform with a roof overhang for my bed. It definitely took a while to get everything situated. However, I did eventually get the house fully built. I do very much like the building in Palworld. I feel like it is, while it's similar to Ark's style, I feel like it's got a little more accurate snap points and such. But I even made like a little overhang for myself and a little porch, and I'm really happy with how my house turned out. After finishing up work on my house, I decided to start making up stuff for the pals. I did a large structure that is above where I had everything set up before, and I have beds now lining that. Starting off day 13, I decided to go out and do some more pal capturing before going to get Catris, and I actually ended up stumbling on a Lucky Cremus. After kind of an irritating fight because it was in the water there, I did end up finally catching it, and I decided to head out towards Catris. Now, instead of heading back home, as you can see my armor's broken right now, I decided to just go in. I'm level 26, I should be fine. So I go ahead and catch Catris. It was definitely a hard fight, and I had to be really careful due to my armor being broken, but this time, nothing happens. Now, after taking her down, I do head home and go to sleep for the night. Day 14 starts off with me making some Kilmari gloves for a new glider, basically. Like I was saying earlier, the Kilmari functions as a glider, but uses a lot less stamina than the actual glider does. The other thing that I got is the grapple gun. Using the two of those together allows you to traverse large chunks of the area very quickly. Now, I completely forgot about this part to write it in my notes, but I actually head out to the wildlife sanctuary, and just to kind of give you an idea of how far you can travel with the glider, this is my traversal out there. Now, there is one pal that is way better as a glider than even the Kilmari, in my opinion, and that is the Hangyu. Thank you, Juke and Crazy Loop, for showing me how awesome they are. They actually give you upward momentum as well, so they're very good. Now, the reason that I came out here was for the Terra, due to them being a part of the journey. I also wanted to find a Grizzbolt, however, I did fail to do that this time. However, after catching a Petalia out here, I did run into the PIDF or whatever they're called, so I had to run away. Now, as evening drew near, I did decide to take on the level 23 King Paka. He did not prove to be too much of a challenge, especially with my Dire Howl by my side, so I am going to just kind of skip through that fight. Day 15 started with me basically spending half the day trying to find the location for my mining base, which I did finally find, and then I spent the rest of the day getting it set up. So, day 16 started off, I actually spent most of the morning mining because I was waiting for stuff to build at my base, like getting metal, getting some of the PAL balls, stuff like that. However, once all that was done, I ended up going and getting the PAL condenser so that I could make my PALs better. After which I headed out to near where the Arena of the Swordsmaster is so that I could get some sulfur and also so I can get a Bushi. Now, once again, I am going into this fight with damaged armor. Again, it doesn't... It almost backfires this time because Bushi almost one-shots me with his, like, special sword move. It was crazy. I definitely started panicking after that. However, I was able to pull it off and actually catch him. So, day 17 started off actually because I spent the entire night up. I know I'm trying not to do that, but I really wanted my armor belt. So I ended up staying up to finish up my new armor, and I got heat-resistant metal armor. After I got my armor finished up, I headed over to the small settlement to see what pals the pal trader had. He had a univolt, which I went ahead and bought because I could afford it. After which I headed over to mine the meteor that had fallen a couple days ago and to take on Azirobe. One thing I will say about Azirobe is I don't like fighting them because for some reason whenever you go into the aim mode it causes your reticule to fly up high into the sky. It's really annoying. Just kind of looking for things to do. I found another really low level boss, so I went ahead and got this Gumos out the way. Then this Bronze Cherry I took out. After which I did end up heading home. Day 18 was honestly just another long day of grinding out levels, trying to get my level up as high as I can, as kind of quickly as I can. I took out a base that the Syndicate had. However, I did find a Meemog, so I wanted to show you guys the Meemog trap. So, after collecting up a bunch of wood and stuff, basically what you do is you'll put down some foundations. If you don't have enough wood, you can remove the extra foundations. You only need one on the cardinal directions of it. After that, you just put down a wall on each side, which will effectively trap the Meemog in and actually use a surprisingly small amount of wood. The reason you have to do this is Meemogs are fast. They will instantly start running away if you attack them, and you won't be able to catch them. Like you may be able to track them, but you won't be able to catch them again until they stop. Day 19, I wanted just a simple little day, but instead I got raided by the Free Pal Alliance. It wasn't too bad of a raid. I was able to beat them pretty quickly. After that, I went and had another really close fight with Bushi, but was able to catch another one so I could have one at the base. I then spent a good part of the rest of the day just working on my mining production. So day 20 and 21, I was actually trying to find the desert that has dig toys in it. However, I kept looking in the wrong spots. I actually finally talked with Juke, and he reminded me it's in the exact opposite direction of where I was looking. When I did find one, though, oh my god, did I find one. It was a Lucky Dig Toys. Now, I didn't have a ton of balls on me, so I was really worried that I would not be able to catch him. Especially due to the fact that Luckies are generally higher level, and this one was like level 30, or like level 28, I think it was. But, yeah, I went at it, and I did finally get him. While I was out there, I did catch 2 other dig toys as well. It left me with, like, literally almost nothing. Which made it really annoying when I found this Arsox event, because I was also looking for Arsox, because they are good at kindling, and that means that there's going to probably be a boss Arsox, and there was. I had one Pal Sphere that I had found, and I used it and did not catch him, so I ran off and ended up finding one other Pal Sphere. Dude was asleep when I came back. I threw the sphere at him, had the bonus due to the fact that he was asleep, and ended up catching him. The only thing of note to happen on day 22 is I did make the Giga Shield and got that equipped, and it was the first time that I really was like, I think I need to move my main base, because for some reason, even though I feel like I have the full extent of the area that the PAL box covers, other than like one spot where there's a big rock, I just feel confined, and I like a more open space for my base. Now, in preparation for my fight with the Free Pal Alliance tower, I really wanted Warsect, because Warsect is one of my favorite pals, if not my favorite pal so far that I have ever found. And I went in to go fight him, and I accidentally killed him. It was really upsetting, but I mean, really, what can you do? So I just cut my losses and headed home. So on day 24, I start off by making a makeshift handgun from a blueprint. After that, I decide to head straight over to the Pal Alliance Tower and don't check my armor again. It's at least not broken going into the fight. So, again, to talk a little bit about the actual fight itself, the design of the fight, I really like the flowing dress of Lily. Lylene is a very cool pal, so yeah, that part is cool. Now, it's less than 2 minutes into the fight that I run into an issue. My armor breaks, and I am a tad worried about that. Now, this is something that I do need to investigate a little bit further, because I know in the dungeons that if you go in, you can leave even if you haven't beaten the boss by going back to the beginning. I don't know if you can leave these spaces if you haven't beaten them, so that's something I need to figure out. This is also the first time I'm actually worried that I may lose a pal. Like, multiple times my pals have gotten close to defeat on this particular boss, and then disaster strikes. So, words really cannot express how disappointed I was in this result. It was entirely my fault because of the fact that I didn't check my armor before going in. So that is going to chalk up a failure for the 100 days. I made it 24 total days. For some reason I thought I was at day 25, but I made it 24 days into this challenge without dying, which is huge. I've never done that on Palworld before. I always die like on day 2. So I'm really proud of myself for how far I got, and I'm excited to give it another try. But for now, that's it. That's all she wrote for this particular run. Thank you guys so much for coming along on this journey with me, and if you guys are excited to watch me try it again, let me know and give me a subscribe and comment and like the video. But as always, until next time, keep on surviving.